You've asked, Kaori, what's the process of reserving and building your own semi-custom homes? In this video, I will walk you through that process step by step. I'm meeting my friends here at the Growth Luxury Homes office. We're going to be talking all about Livv and their brand new project Magnus in the southwest side of town. And we're going to go through the step-by-step process. So if you're watching this video and you're interested in building your own semi-custom home, I will make sure this process is as seamless as possible. Let's go inside. Hello, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, good, thank you. Awesome. Kaori, how are you?
I'm great, how are you?
Good. So
Can I offer you any water, sparkling water, coffee, soda, snacks?
Oh my goodness, thank you so much. Look at all these options, you guys. Sparkling soda would be, or sparkling water would be great. All right, thank you. Hi guys, how are you?
Good to see you.
You guys meet Michelle Owens.
Hi,
You've seen her in our videos before.
How are you?
Good to see you. Steve Escalante, you've seen in my videos before. All right, super excited to be here.
Absolutely, we're happy to introduce you into Magnus, our
Awesome.
Southwest community.
Here
Thank
are.
you.
Enjoy. Let me know if there's anything else I can get
Thank
for
you.
Of course.
All right.
Welcome.
Perfect. All right, you guys, so we're now here at the Growth Luxury Homes corporate office, and you've seen them on my videos before. We've got Steve and Michelle here. Hi, guys.
Hi.
How are you?
So I'm Michelle Owens. I'm team lead for Livv Homes and also Growth Luxury, but
Steve Escalante. I'm the executive director of business development for Growth Luxury Homes and our Livv communities.
Beautiful. Well, I'm super excited because we're the first video to showcase step by step the reservation process.
Yes.
And as you guys know, I have a lot of buyers interested, really excited about your community.
Yeah.
You know, we've done some, Instagram reels and other videos that people have already seen.
Right.
So this is you guys like a part, almost 3 of the Growth Luxury videos, and we really want to dive into the Livv Magnus
yes.
community and really kind of share with everybody how does it really take to go through that process, to reserve a lot and go through that whole building process.
perfect. So to give you a little bit of background about Magnus, Magnus is our Southwest community. It's between Rainbow, Tenaya area. There's going to be 94 home sites, which have ample amount of space, about average third of an acre, and we have several different floor plans and models to choose from. So there's 3 single stories and 4 two-story floor plans. What's actually really different about our community here in the Southwest, we have these curated interior styles that we'll actually go through, and that's the modern flair, the natural boho, and the Euro chic.
That's amazing. I mean, you guys have already customized 3 interior design packages by your professional interior design team.
Correct.
Just going to make it really easy for us buyers to pick and choose and go build your semi-custom home.
Yeah, I mean, part of the reason why we really wanted to kind of take a little bit of a different approach is a lot of times when you go into like a semi-custom or production build, typically as a buyer, as a consumer, we all know that, you go in, typically you pick a model, but then you're kind of left on your own, and then you go to a design center and you're just picking and choosing kind of randomly. And we really wanted to kind of create a more custom home feel. And typically, what we do on the custom home side is we have our interior design team put everything together from the ground up.
Right.
They really kind of not only selecting materials, but how things transition, the style, depending on whatever style you're building. We wanted to kind of bring all of that, kind of secret sauce of an interior design and just take that out of the equation for the client. Yeah. So when they go to the design center, maybe they're just picking their colors and the feel that they want, but they don't have to worry about if it's going to look good. And so that's one thing. And the second too is we really wanted it to be transparent. So a lot of times the scary part when you go into buying into a production home or semi-custom is the fear of the unknown and the fear of, okay, well, how much am I really going to spend on this, and am I going to be outpriced and not get the option I want? So we really wanted to kind of take that away and put it on the front end and say, hey, here's your build, here's the options you want. And then that way, before you even go to contract, you know what you're going to spend and not a penny more. So when you go into the design center, just bring your glass of champagne, you're picking colors because everything's in your budget. So it's just like you're a kid in the candy store, and that's really the experience we wanted the clients to be in our Livv community.
And that's fantastic. You guys know this. I'm sure a lot of you watching this as a buyer have been into a design center of a spec home builder, you know, and you're overwhelmed. First of all, I think you're just super overwhelmed. Like you just don't even know where to start, right? I mean, you are a kid in a candy store, but if you don't have guidance, you know, you're just kind of lost in there. On top of that, that's additional, you guys. Obviously, there's standard features that's included in the spec homes. So for example, certain tile size or certain, you know, carpet that's already, you know, as a standard. Everything else is additional. So everything you select in the design center is the plus, 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 plus that a lot of people don't even budget it for.
Correct.
So at the end of the day, they're just like, oh my gosh, I just spent X amount of additional design upgrades that I didn't even think about when I was budgeting for my home.
Yeah, and a lot of times, I mean, when you're going into these communities, you know, like you said, some things are extra options. Like, oh, I want plugs, then they're charging you. Or I want this, then they're charging you for things that we felt that should be standard when you're dealing in a kind of a custom level feel. So that's what we did. I mean, even like we're, for example, 10-foot pocket door systems is standard. So we're giving a custom level product right out of the gate.
Beautiful.
So these are some of the things that we wanted to kind of take the thought process out for the client. And also we understand everybody's got their own style and vibe. So that's part of the reason that the interior design team came up with these three concepts. Because when you see the three styles, the natural boho, it's like one complete direction. It's beachy and this, and the other one is a different, more traditional, the Euro chic. But then if you want modern, so in the same community, you can have a different client with different vibe. They can still get what they want and not feel like they're pigeonholed or they can't be in this community because they want traditional or vice versa. So we wanted to give that flexibility, and that's something that's unique.
That's incredible. Talk to us about your technology-driven, forward-thinking, innovative ideas that you guys obviously talk about in your designs.
Yeah, so what we're really wanting to implement is a very tech-driven concept. And when we say tech-driven, you know, you're still getting a beautiful home and it's the look and feel of the design, but just how the technology's integrated into the home and how we're thinking of technology. You know, technology's advanced, you know, it's robust as far as what's happening. But the thing is what does that mean to me, the consumer? And I always try to simplify it saying, okay, well, you got the Ring doorbell, then you have the Nest, then you have your security, and then before you know it, your phone has 50 million apps and you get lost in that. So what we really try to do is consolidate and kind of create a digital skeleton that everything plugs into. So that way your experience of living in your home, it's seamless, but then there's things happening behind the scenes. Meaning the sensors that are in the house are there for you, so it kind of enhances. If you're not home, it's shutting certain things up or down on the building management system. So the home is also alive, if you will. So that way it's sustaining your pocketbook. Because the key is to have the technology is not to like listen to your conversation. It's like, how can my home run more efficient? So at the end of the day, it affects me financially as well. So that's a lot of the things for the technology. But one thing we're also integrating that's important is a health component, because there's a lot of technology that's out now that for health. And one thing we feel like as a company is we really want to implement like what that represents to us as a consumer. You know, so when you're in your home and let's say you have certain allergies, there's like filtration in the dampers. There's technology that exists right now that the home's going to be like the most comfortable experience that you live in. So that's definitely something that we're really trying to adopt because technology's there. But as builders, a lot of times builders are not tech people, and tech people aren't developers and builders. So how do you bridge that gap? So this is a way that we can bridge the gap, because being that we're in technology as well, and we're also in real estate development and construction, it's an easy way for us to kind of connect the two minds, two teams, to say, hey, how can we execute this to make it a better experience lifestyle-wise, but where it's efficient for a consumer as well. Because we really feel that this is kind of the future. We feel that this is how communities are going to start moving towards. But if you don't know how to get there, then how are you going to know? So companies like us, you know, we feel like we're trailblazers. We got to kind of lead the initiative. So that's really what we're trying to do with Livv in the communities, is kind of set that new precedence, raise the bar, and show how it can be done. So we're really excited about that.
And not only with the technology, there's also the net zero component,
Yes.
which we really didn't address. So the way the home is built, the solar panels, the actual battery pack, now you're producing your own energy and you're storing it. And so with the technology, having that energy management system, it's really, really going to help with the savings, and the cost of ownership is going to go lower for the consumer.
Absolutely, that was my next question, the net zero. And then talk to us about the Tesla.
Yes. So, we are known for, offering Teslas. So that's something that the Livv Home brand, so if you live in a Livv home,
Yes.
right, then you should have a Tesla. So it's vice versa. If you have a Tesla, you should live in a Livv home. And that's part of the ecosystem that we're building.
And does the Tesla come with the home?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you're buying a Livv Communities, it's a Model 3, but we have some people that want the X-Plaid if they
right.
want to upgrade to it. I mean, we don't want to steer them away from upgrading to
Wow.
a more souped up car, but
Awesome.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear that? You're gonna get a Tesla Model 3 with an option to upgrade, like me, if you want a mommy SUV,
Right.
you could upgrade to the Y model, or if you be super fancy, you could
Right.
upgrade to the X model. So make sure you take a note of that and comment below if you're a Tesla fan, or if you already drive a Tesla and maybe this community Livv is for you. Comment below. All right, anything else we need to know about before this
I
presentation?
did want to talk about the cost of ownership.
Yes.
I did want to talk about that, touch a little bit more on that, and maybe you can slide it in. But something Michelle had mentioned about the cost of ownership, which is really cool. That's definitely something that's going to be a topic of discussion. We're big on that on our custom home side as well as on the Livv communities. But that's going to be something that you're going to start hearing more and more of, because for example, we had some clients that had recently bought a production home, and they were asking about solar power, and they're like, well, I need X amount of panels and this, because their home may have not been built with the same efficiencies, but he had just as much solar panels on his 4,000 square foot home as we had in one of our 10,000 square foot homes. And then he was like, well, how is that possible? And I said, well, how the home is built makes a difference. So if your home is built with certain efficiencies and structure and quality, then your home's going to run more efficiently, which means that there's less load on your AC to cool the house. So all of this is interconnected, and that's something that if you don't from the ground up connect everything, then you can only produce so much power. So the key is the management of the power, and that's how you manage is building a better product. That's the key. That's the key for that.
Yep.
And I'm sure all of you watching this, from the beginning are wondering, what kind of budget are we talking about? Just give us a range, because, when you think semi-custom,
Right.
people think dollar signs, right?
Yeah,
It's going to be expensive. Talk to us about that. Is it going to be affordable for people?
So in the Magnus communities, we're starting at 1.2 and up. The Neo communities are starting at 2.2 and up, plus your lot, whatever lot you pick.
Right.
But that's right now for what you're getting a very high quality. So reason why we kind of started at these price points is because production build is at that price point now. But we wanted to offer a more custom product for the same price and create that value for the consumer and the client, and offer a more superior product for the same cost. So that's kind of our initiative with that and Livv, and eventually, in the future, as we continue to refine and perfect how it's being built, we'd like to see more communities and even lower price point. So the market's not there, cost, construction, but that's where we see the future for sure.
Yep.
We want as many people as we can have in the Livv home as possible.
Absolutely. All right, you guys heard it. So we're going to start with the base price of 1.2 here for the Magnus community. Stay tuned till the very end, because we're going to be breaking down lot premiums as well. And Michelle and I are going to be taking you to the lots as well at the very end. So stay tuned till the very end, you guys.
So the first process here, we have a few different ways. We have the homes that the clients could want. So we know if they identify a single story, then we can, pick from the 3 single stories we have. Or if they know a home site they want, then we can actually go that route and say, I've identified this home site, what actually fits there. So we have the flexibility for that. So the selection kit we have for agents and also clients, and this helps you and empowers you to go through the process with your clients. It'll have directions. We'll have the map, the reservation map, and this will be a live map. So it'll show what's actually going to be available, what's reserved, what's under contract, and what's sold. So in real time, your clients will know what is available and how to help navigate them through the process. And so once they've identified that lot, the next step, we'll have the lot release schedule. One thing we've realized with other builders, they'll only release the projects in, segments or time frames. Here we're actually releasing the entire home site.
That's amazing.
But what we are giving you the power and the consumer is understanding the phase of construction, so they can pick a home site in phase 3 and plan for that in their future.
So that's something that's huge, like when it comes to like transparency, because like a lot of times builders, what they'll do is like, okay, this one we're not releasing, but like I know, for example, I was looking at some stuff in a community, and it's like, well, I want that lot, and they're like, well, we haven't released it. I'm like, okay, well, can I put a check and be first in? And they wouldn't take it, and I was like, hey, I'm ready to roll. And they were just like, okay. So I'm like, well, when is it? Well, we don't know. And then it's like I found out like a month and a half later, oh, they opened it up and an email went to my junk mail, and then it like took it, and I was like, man, I would have like totally just paid right now and done it. So that's something that, for example, it's important to like have that transparency. So that way if someone says, hey, I want lot 21, great, you can get it. Your house just won't be ready for build until this date. But at least as a consumer, like I know I'm getting exactly what I want. And we wanted to kind of just create a different experience.
Gotcha. So you could still reserve a lot even though it's on phase 3.
Correct.
Okay. And that's the closing date? Or that's the release?
So the phase 3, like how we phased it, is when your house will be ready to build. So if it's like an 8-month time and say, hey, this lot's going to be ready in June of 2023. Well, at least okay, from 8 months from that or 10 months from that, it'll be ready to go.
The build time.
So at least you can
dates.
place your timing accordingly.
Gotcha. And you mentioned 8 months is like the roughly?
Yeah, for the single stories, we're right about 8 to like 9, 10 months. And then the 2 stories, we're running about 10 to 14. And the reason why we kind of put those range is really going to depend on the interiors that you pick. Because if you kind of look at like Euro chic, like there's trim and detail versus the boho that's smooth and beachy. So each of them has its own complexities, but that have different finishing and detail work. So that's where the range is going to be. If it has more detail because of the style and the reflective ceiling plan, that's where like the extra time sometimes comes in.
Oh, this is amazing. You guys, knowing your time frame and when your home is going to be able to build, again, based on your situation, right? Based on your lifestyle, maybe your kids are getting ready to leave the house, right? Those are all important timeline and factors for you guys to think about when you're building your dream custom home, semi-custom home. And this timeline is going to really help you dictate which phase you're going to be as far as the build goes.
Yeah, I mean, and sometimes clients, the consumer will come to us and say, hey, Steve, I want to be in by June. And then we say, hey, you know what? Here, if you want to be in by June, here's kind of what options you have to select from. So the more information we get, we can kind of help craft the right strategy for the client.
And have a roadmap.
We can have a good roadmap for them.
That's fantastic. Awesome.
So the next step in the process, as part of our transparency, we have the lot prices. And so it'll tell you the square footage of the lot size and the premium that's associated, and a little bit more detail, corner lot, cul-de-sac, everyone loves those. And it'll even go down to like, this is the fifth largest lot, so they can make, a decision and what's best for them. And then helps with their budget too and planning for the future.
Perfect.
And then we go a little bit further. And so once they've identified a lot or a home, as I stated earlier, now we can identify if it fits correctly. So we have the lot fit. And so there's no kind of question or ambiguity. You know, they find this beautiful lot and like, oh, the home really doesn't fit.
Okay.
So we have all of the floor plans listed here, and the lots on the side, and it states, you know, 1 through 94. And
Beautiful.
and if there's a dot there, then it does fit. The red
Yeah.
ones say, you know, there's going to be some contingency there, maybe a little bit tight.
Yeah.
You know, the wording, and so, but every dot that home site fits on that specific lot.
Beautiful. I just noticed RV on here. You guys are going to be able to fit in an RV?
Yes.
We are. It's exciting.
Wow.
Yes.
So yeah, that's something, you know, we have, especially in our custom homes, we've had a lot of people that have these type of requests
Yes.
in communities.
Yes.
And that's something that as like our initiative as a company, as Livv, we really want to listen to the consumer. It's, you know, you kind of go in and they're, you know, it's like us against you, right?
Yeah.
No, you can't do this and whatnot. We kind of really wanted to hear and say, does this make sense? Does it make sense for us? Does it make sense for the community? And if it does, we'll hear the feedback and whatnot. So that's something that's kind of different as a company, as a builder, is like we want to listen. We want to hear because we want people to be happy. And it's just kind of a culture that we're trying to create and say, hey, does this make sense? You know what? We got like 100 people asking for RV.
Yeah.
Let's just add that option.
Absolutely.
And how do we make it look beautiful within the community,
Yeah.
within the HOA and the design? And so in the Magnus community, because they're a little bit more spread in the land, you know, you're going to have some additional bells and whistles. So if you want an RV little section, you'll have that.
And that's also part of the Southwest lifestyle there. We understand
Right.
that, and they have their outdoor activities that they want to do, being a boat or something like that.
Right.
And understanding where we're placing our communities and that it's going to adapt to that area.
That's fantastic. You guys, I have a lot of buyers, you know, looking specifically for homes where we could do RV parking.
Yeah.
And as you guys know right now, we're very limited on options. Usually it has to be in a no HOA community, so that's where I'm looking for no HOA, no restrictions. And there are a lot of, you know, homes, bigger homes in the Southwest area, so I align with you. That's kind of like the lifestyle. And again, more and more of my friends personally are buying these luxury RVs because now all of their kids are grown and they want to go on this adventure, right, and hit the road in the luxury RV. But where do they park those RVs?
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think you've just kind of hit that demographic that are obviously into that adventure, right, with their RV, but they need a place to park, and they're now super limited right now, so you're obviously giving them an option. That's, I mean, I think that's fantastic. Comment below if you own an RV and you don't know where to park it. Well, you've got a community here that's going to allow you to park it, and this community is gated, correct?
It is
Yes,
gated,
gated.
yes.
Yes. Awesome, awesome, great.
So next step, we went through lot fit. It's going to, of course, give you some directions. The next slide is actually our floor plans. So as I mentioned, we have the 3 single stories. That's the Sympholia, Thea, and Velour. And then the Jolene, Orenda, Paragon, and Elysium are our 2-story floor plans.
Awesome.
And so one thing we've understood being custom home builders, there are specific areas the home owner wants. It's the culinary kitchen. It's the large closets and also the garage space. So we've actually curated these models to have interchangeable floor plans to kind of meet their style and still be cost efficient.
Great.
And so we'll go into the Sympholia floor plan just so you can kind of understand what those options would look like.
Absolutely.
And then talk to us about the sizes. I mean, what kind of sizes can we expect, like from the smallest model to the biggest?
You know, the smallest is going to be just under 3,000. And it really scales up into the 6,000 square feet range. So you're going to have a lot of flexibility with regards to size.
Yeah.
Typically, we always recommend to the clients is this section that Michelle's kind of covering is really take the time and see, because you know, one thing I found, like when I'm looking at the floor plans for myself, I'm looking at them, I'm like, okay, I like this one. Then I dive deep into the next one. I'm like, no, I really like this one. And then come to find out, I love all the floor plans.
Right.
But each floor plan actually has some amazing qualities.
Beautiful.
But lifestyle-wise, there's a few floor plans that are fit for like an entertainer's dream.
Right.
But then there's some other ones that, hey, you know, if you have multiple kids, they're like in a totally different wing of the house. The primary's like its own little palatial separated area. So these are some of the things that, you know, when you look through the floor plans, you got to see like, well, what's right for me? But each floor plan actually, each model has like up to 4 or more variations, which is really cool. And it's definitely something worth diving in. And, you know, one thing that we've done in taking the extra mile is a lot of people, like, it's hard to see on a 2D, just a plan and like, okay, what does this represent? So we've actually went a step further to kind of render and model the different styles of that floor plan. So then you can actually immerse yourself in saying, okay, well, I kind of like this floor plan, but how does it going to look with the boho or the modern? But you know what, with a click of a button, you can see and you're like, oh wow, like I'm digging this, you know, so you can really see that.
Is that what we did, Steve, at our grand opening event with the VR? You guys remember me with the VR? That's what we were seeing, right? So you're able to create that space. Oh my God, how cool is that, you guys, to be able to do that experience in person?
Yeah, because, you know, it just gives you an extra level of comfort, you know, before pulling the trigger in any direction, style, look, feel. You know, because the last thing we want is for someone to kind of get into the space and like, man, I should have picked this, or I didn't know. So at least you know going in and you're like, okay, you know, hey, I love exactly what I picked because it's exactly what I picked.
Yeah, and I recommend writing out your wish list first of, you know, how many bedrooms, office, or you need this great entertainment space, and then go through the floor plans to see which one actually fits all the boxes. So.
I love it.
So, as I mentioned, this is a Sunfolia. The first one is showing the elevated or the Zoa exterior, so we do have some options. This one actually is reflecting the 14-foot floor-to-ceiling windows. What's nice about all of our floor plans, especially the single story, the primary areas are 14 feet high, the secondary areas are 12 feet high. And so now to get that floor-to-ceiling window expanse, this is at a custom level.
Got it.
And then this shows the standard where it'd be a 10-foot slider.
Okay.
So the Sunfolia floor plan, it's going to give you an overview, the square footage, it's a single story, and then the range of price, and then also the floor plans. So now you have kind of this legend. So it's a floor plan 1, 4-bedroom, 3-car garage, and this one's a 3-bedroom, 3-car garage, extended glam closet. This one has your next gen, and then also more garage space.
I love it. And I was actually going to ask you about the next gen, because more and more families are living together, and I actually live in the next gen as well, so that's important for me. So for you guys to have that as a custom is huge.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I know I'm like very close to becoming next gen, so I'm thinking about it because I'm gonna be living in the next gen soon.
There you go. So make sure you have all the amenities and everything you like, right?
I'm thinking the house around like where I want to live when my kids are taken care of. So.
There you go. There you go.
And so floor plan 1, you'll see it has this great expanse walk-in. So I'm gonna actually lower it here. So actually the entrance is here. It's a 6 by 5 here. So when you do walk in, you'll see the living room, and that's indoor-outdoor fill with the covered patio. The interchangeable space, you have this formal dining room that has this pocket so you can open while you're entertaining. Nice lounge area, and then of course gourmet kitchen, and then this amazing living room. And as you see, as Steve explained earlier, you have your primary on one side. You do have a guest room here, but all the other ones are on the other side, so it gives that primary that privacy. And when you scroll down here to the next one, you see just that little change here. So now it's still a 3-bedroom home, but now it has this amazing glam closet and her closet to die for. I mean, I'm like challenge accepted to actually fill this up. So
wow. So there's his closet and then a glam. So what do you put in the glam?
Usually it's like a vanity space, or if you have people coming in, do your hair and makeup. Yeah. So just a little bit more kind of boutique type of style there. And then, of course, a huge walk-in closet.
That is a huge closet, 19.5 by 9.3.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. You guys, comment below. Is that one of the biggest closet size you've ever seen? Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I would use the glam for like my shoes and stuff.
That's like my husband.
Yeah.
My
there you
husband
go.
loves shoes.
Yep.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes.
And so just to see what the next gen would look like.
Yes.
So what's pretty cool about this, you have this privacy gate, but actually the next gen has its own entrance.
Beautiful.
So it has that full independence here. You know, it could be, you know, kids coming back home or even parents, and they have their own space.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it gives a lot of really cool flexibility to this stay.
But I love how you said, Michelle, know your needs and wants first, right? Write it down and then kind of go through this process. I think that's really going to help you narrow your search and filter the floor plans.
Correct. So the next step when selecting, going through your floor plan, now we have the exterior style. We went through the Zoa and Aeon, so it'll show you what the upgrade looks like, the wood cladding and then the stonework. And now the fun part is that interior style. So we're actually going to look at the Orenda, which is a 2-story home, but we actually have that pulled up already. So even though this is the same home, the styles are completely different. And this is the
Kitchen.
the
Of the
kitchen
Eurochic.
of
Eurochic.
correct.
Wow.
So it has those pops of glam here, the gold,
Okay.
you know, now this new stonework that we're seeing come out. And Steve, would you talk about a little bit about how we got to these styles?
Yeah, so like this style, I mean, you can kind of see, I mean, the way the interior design team conceptualized it. You got the waterfall edge, big counter, but very clean, you know, European looking closet. If you click to the next tab, Michelle, like the natural boho, I mean, the same kitchen
Yeah.
has a different profile.
Oh my gosh.
So this one,
That's a kitchen?
This
It's
is a kitchen.
You guys, that's a kitchen. Can you believe it?
Yeah, so it's a
Wow.
completely different profile. So the kitchen and the spaces are hidden. So these cabinets actually open up.
Oh
so
my
the kitchen
gosh.
kind of comes alive and
Yeah.
opens up.
Yeah.
But it has a little bit more clean profile because the natural boho is, again,
Yeah.
very minimal but clean, beachy. So, you know, that they wanted to kind of create a little bit more color pop with that.
Wow.
But when you flip to the next one, Modern Flair, it's got a little bit more of an industrial feel. So even the island itself, where the other one was on the side, you can kind of see here, the cooktop is in the middle. It's just got a different flow, and then your cabinetry's behind versus the other one, the hood and the range is on the other side. So it just really goes to show the detail that the interior design team did as far as even the same kitchen, the same model, with each style, it looks and feels different. And that's something that's on a custom level. So that's where we say, hey, the same model home can look completely different in the community based on the style they pick, so their interior design package, and knowing that, you know what, like the home I'm buying, maybe it's going to be the one of a kind in the community, which is really cool.
You guys, comment below which design you like best based on this kitchen that you just saw. So we've got the modern, the boho, and then this is the Euro chic. Yeah, comment below. I'd love to do a poll. I want to see what the audience
Let's do a
thinks.
poll. I'm curious.
Yeah.
I'm very curious.
Yeah, and we can report it to Steve and Michelle.
There we go.
Wow. It's absolutely beautiful, you guys.
And so after all of that is finalized, now we go to the price sheet. And then we can look at what the inclusives are for each of them. And so we'll kind of show you what that looks like, but then each of them are going to be different. It's going to be called out here.
Yeah.
Your lot premiums. It's going to state what kind of home you did choose, the floor plan 1. It is the modern flair. It has the Aeon inclusive upgrades, the standard, but everything's called out for you. Your flooring, your interior finishes, your ceiling heights, as I mentioned, the 14 to 12 feet, your cabinets, appliances, your structure of each of the homes, and it goes into saying your spray foam insulation, which is part of net zero, your exterior window package, your technology, that's standard, your exterior landscaping, and then your sustainability with it. And then, you know, you then from there you go into your upgrades and options. And as we mentioned, all of your selections are done prior to you even going to the design center, so you will know your out the door price.
I mean, look how it's huge, and no one's doing this. And obviously, like you said, you guys are the trailblazers. But this is like absolutely incredible. The time you guys took to put this together, and now you basically go online and select everything, and you have a semi-custom home that you check out. Just like when you buy a Tesla, like I did. You know, select all your options and upgrades and check out.
That's the easy part,
Seamless.
and we feel that buying a home of this caliber shouldn't be complicated.
Yeah.
But if you present it properly, it shouldn't be complicated. So that's kind of our goal, is to refine the process, continue to refine, and make it simpler and simpler to buy a Livv home.
You got it.
So if you were to just do the basic, right? So you got the 1.2, and I think the lowest lot premium was about 650, 400.
Yep.
So you're all in 1.6.
Yep.
Okay, did you guys hear that? All in 1.6, and you could get something at this quality and this level, and how efficiency this home is going to be.
It's exciting.
Absolutely.
Wow, I'm just blown away. I'm getting hot right now. I'm getting hot right now. Wow, this is really exciting, you guys.
It's
Really,
exciting.
really
We're really
exciting.
excited. I mean, it's
Okay.
definitely it's an exciting community with some exciting amenities,
Okay.
in the home, and we're really proud. I mean, we have an exceptional team, and it's just not just here; it's globally
Okay.
that we've been all excited putting together to launch this.
Yeah.
To kind of spread the word, and then now that we're seeing it happen, it's really exciting.
Awesome. Should we talk about financing and what the next steps are after you go through this process? So what's the earnest money deposit needed?
So typically, right in all our communities, it's $25,000
Okay.
to reserve your lot.
Okay.
And again, you can pick through any lot in any of the communities. You can say, I want this lot.
Right.
You reserve it.
Right.
You open up escrow,
Right.
and then during that process, you can go and we take the time. Typically, what clients do is they'll reserve the lot.
Right.
Then they go home and kind of review and dive in to see really what plan and style.
Yeah.
And then we send up like kind of a meeting
Okay.
to do a selection process. And I usually say it's about an hour to 2 hours typically,
Okay.
because we really sit through and go room by room,
Yeah.
pricing everything out, looking at the renderings, and then finalize by the end their final price. So then that way from there, they go to contract. When they go to contract, it's $100,000 deposit.
Okay.
Then they close on the land.
Okay.
And whether the client opts to purchase it via cash,
Right.
or construction financing. And we
Right.
actually have some very good construction financing lenders we work with as well.
Beautiful. Yeah, I think, a lot of other custom home builders, they want the lot closed first.
Yep.
So obviously they want 400,000 plus, upfront cash. Not everyone has that. So having that option of a construction loan, you guys, I'll get the information from Steve and Michelle. That's just open doors, right? Like that you could bundle the lot and the construction loan together.
Correct.
So you have it in one loan. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, so you have some flexibility, you have some options, and
Great.
and we'll work with you on all of that with the clients. So
Beautiful. And then build time, like you said, we looked at the phases, and then build time again, 8 to 10 months, or 12 to
I'd say
14
like
months.
depending on the floor plan, it could be
Yeah.
as early as 8, depending on the floor plan.
Okay.
As long as up to 14 months,
Okay.
depending on the floor plan.
Okay.
So within that range. So if you kind of tell us, I want this model and this, then we can say, okay, it's going to be 10 to 12 or 12 to 14.
Yeah.
And they'll get a
this
building
model.
schedule too.
You
yeah,
got it.
absolutely.
And then you touched on solar, and I have a lot of viewers from California where
Oh, yeah.
solar is very important to
Yeah.
them. So that's an optional upgrade to add
No.
the solar panels, or
No,
it's included?
It's included.
included.
So
Wow.
the solar and the battery charger
Yeah.
is inclusive. So that's part of what you get with the house.
Wow.
So what's nice is you're not leasing the solar panels, you're owning them,
yeah.
which is great. And then all the warranties associated with the solar and also the battery wall, like all of that is part of the package. So again, it's about being efficiency because we really want to promote that sustainable lifestyle. So that's why it's like, hey, the house is coming with this. It's coming with our tech.
Yeah.
It's coming with these, because this is what we believe in. So if you're going to buy in this community, you believe in it too. So you know that what you're paying for this is why I'm paying for it, because it's coming with it.
Yep.
You guys, if you want to be the first buyers for this community, you know what to do. My contact information is below. I'll have additional links on my description, so you could go ahead and check that out. And I really, really appreciate you guys watching. And for me, I really take it, to my heart that these videos are educational for you and useful for you when making your decision to whether relocate or invest in Las Vegas and Henderson. So Michelle and I are going to take you to the lots. Stay tuned. All right, you guys, we are here on the home sites of Livv Magnus. Michelle, talk to us.
Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier that there's 94 home sites. Actually, Tenaya is one of the cross streets in between the development. On the right-hand side, we're actually gonna have 30 home sites on this side, and on the other side, 64. So we are in between Wigwam, Tenaya here, and then Rainbow's east of us. What's awesome about these 30 home sites, you're gonna get some red rock views just depending on where your lot is located. We have some that are really, really large, close to a half acre. Most of them are gonna be closer to that 3rd acre, but here in the R&P district of Las Vegas, there's a lot of custom homes around us, and so we actually had to go through the community here, and they had to support us to actually build our Livv community here in the Southwest. So we're minutes away from the Durango station and the new Uncommons. So now the southwest of Las Vegas is considered the central part of Las Vegas.
Absolutely. And for those of you that's not familiar, Station Casino is one of our local casino builders.
Correct.
They're building a brand new casino called Durango Casino right off of 215 and Durango exit. And right across from that is where our new Las Vegas Sotheby's office is going to be at the Uncommons. Super excited. We get to move in the next few weeks, so make sure you got to come visit us there.
I will be at the party.
Absolutely. But Uncommons, it's obviously a combination of, you know, commercial offices as
Correct.
well as some restaurants. We've got Earth Cafe that just opened.
I love it. It's
which
actually,
is, yeah.
So it's actually in the Wynn Hotel too,
Yes.
so it's one of my favorites.
Awesome. So LA favorites. So those of you watching from California, you're pretty familiar with Earth Cafe. We also have the Michael Mina Food Hall that's going to be opening. So again, if you're a foodie like myself, I'm really, really excited to be able to have Michael Mina for lunch.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
We'll have to get together.
Indeed.
All right. Okay, you guys, so we're just gonna wrap up this video. If you have further questions for us, you know what to do. Comment below, or you could email me directly. My information is in the description below. And again, we really appreciate you watching our videos. Hope these are very useful for you and educational for you in the event that you're interested in semi-custom homes by Livv in this Magnus community. Thank you so much, Michelle.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
All
We'll
right.
see you all soon.
See you soon.